Hello and welcome to the next screencast. For this presentation, I think it might be best if you have a set of headphones. You'll need a pencil and a piece of paper. And when we meet, we're going to have a discussion. This should be fun. But the first thing I want you to do is this. Have a look at these photographs and tell me, where were the photos taken? You need to think of reasons for your opinions, okay? Don't just guess. Number one, where was this photo taken? Have a look. What can you see there? Okay, ready for number two? Where was this photo taken? Look at everything in the picture. What can you see? Number three, where was this photo taken? What do you know about these men here? Have a look at all the clues in the picture. Okay, next one. Where was this photo taken? Look around. Look at all the clues. Next picture. Where was this photo taken? What do you think? What do you know about those costumes? What do you think is happening there? Where was that photo taken? And where was this photo taken? What do you know about these men here? Look at all the details in the photograph. And finally, where was this photo taken? Have a look at the faces. Have a look at all the clues in the photo. Where were these photos taken? Well, let's find out. What if I told you all of these photos were taken in the same country? Where do you think that country would be? Have a think. And what if I told you all those photographs were taken in the same city? Which city do you think that is? It's London. All those photographs were taken in London. So that shows you how multicultural London is. When I come to Jakarta, I look around and all I see is Indonesian people. When I go to Paris Van Java, I look around. All I see is Indonesian people. Now, many Indonesians say to me, hey, we live in a multicultural country. And yes, of course you do. There's Batak, there's Sasak, there's Sunda, there's Jawa, Minahasa. Yeah, but to a foreigner, it's just Indonesian. Yes, sure, there are some minority cultures, Balinese Hindu, perhaps. The Badui, they're a separate culture, but these are very small minorities. To a foreigner coming here, the culture is just Indonesian, or maybe Chinese Indonesian. But London and Britain, and Europe indeed, are vastly multicultural. Vastly multicultural. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Meet my daughter. Have a look at her. Where does she belong? Does she belong in Indonesia or does she belong in Britain? Have a look at her face. Let's find out some more about my little girl, okay? She's what we call ambilingual. She's equally good in Bahasa Indonesia and in English. She's completely fluent. She's legally both British and Indonesian. She only has an Indonesian passport, but that's because we live here. She has no need for a British passport. She's 6 years old now, and she's been to Britain for a total of about a month. so she doesn't really know Britain. She's lived in Indonesia for over 6 years. She speaks English with a mix of my accent and American. Now, my accent she gets from copying me. The American accent, I guess she gets from watching the Disney Channel. So, she doesn't speak with an Indonesian accent. Unless she's speaking Indonesian or Sunda. And then she speaks in a perfect local accent. Now, she knows why she looks different from her friends. And she understands what 2 different languages are. She knows that she's English and she's Indonesian. She understands that fine. She watches American and British TV and a lot of internet TV. She watches YouTube a lot, but it's generally American. And she prefers British storybooks to Indonesian. She doesn't know any British family. And she's very, very close to her family here. So where does she belong? Does she belong in Indonesia or does she belong in Britain? Well, you might ask, why does it matter? But for my daughter, having 2 nationalities, it really matters here. Because when she's 17, she has to choose. She has to choose, does she live in Britain and take a British passport, or does she live in Indonesia and take an Indonesian passport? That's what this screencast is about today. We're going to try and decide if Caitlin, my daughter, when she's 17, should choose to be British or Indonesian, because she cannot be both. Do you know Anthony Bourdain? He's a celebrity chef and he travels a lot. He's looking for a place in Asia to retire. And he made a very successful TV show called No Reservations. This is part of the episode that he was in Bali and he also went to Garut. He loved Indonesia. But can he live here? Could he retire here? Could he be part of the community? Well, let's listen to what he says. I want you to listen and think about what he says very carefully. Ready?
Indonesia, a paradise. One of the earliest human ancestors, Java Man, migrated here over 1 million years ago and saw no reason to leave. And as I finish my journey here in Bali, I'm beginning to see his point of view. But it's causing me to confront some serious questions. Even if I learned to speak the language, if I lived here, spent the rest of my life studying local ways, you're still the Boule. You're still the foreigner. Okay, it's one thing that they know it, so that's perfectly okay to me. But it's what's in, you can't change, I don't think. You can't, can you change what's in your heart? What really happens to expats? Do they ever truly assimilate, feeling like they belong to their adoptive cultures? Or do they go over to the dark side, like Colonel Kurtz, building their own twisted version of empire? And
Shall we listen to that again?
Indonesia, a paradise. One of the earliest human ancestors, Java Man, migrated here over 1 million years ago and saw no reason to leave. And as I finish my journey here in Bali, I'm beginning to see his point of view. But it's causing me to confront some serious questions. Even if I learned to speak the language, if I lived here, spent the rest of my life studying local ways, you're still the Boule.
Even if I spend the rest of my life here, even if I learn the language, even if I study the local culture, I'll always be the Boule. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with what he says there? Could Anthony Bourdain ever be part of Indonesian culture, accepted within his community, or would he always be different? Look at my daughter. Does she look Indonesian? If she spends the rest of her life here, with her Indonesian family, will she ever be part of this culture? Even if she learns to speak the language, which she is fluent in, will she always be the Boule? Interesting thought. End of part 1.